One candidate's financial travails are another one's delight, including one Donald Trump's. Listen to this and what he makes of old Jeb.
I say if you can cut 40 to 50%, and they're all taking it, everybody's saying, we'll take it. Why didn't you do that 7 months ago? If they take it now, they're going to take it then. So why didn't you do it 7 months ago? So he's meeting now with mom and dad. No, it's true. He needs counsel.
All right, to the Daily Bean's Betsy Woodruff here. Obviously, Donald Trump is seizing on this, but is it registering? What do you think?
I think so. Things are not pretty for Jeb right now, and one poll that stood out to me as especially dicey for him came from the University of North Florida last week. It showed Jeb in 4th place in Florida behind Rubio. And Mark Caputo at Politico tweeted out a bunch of slides from this donor event. They were pretty telling. It sounds like the Jeb folks, look, they're stressed out. It's not pretty. They're worried about Rubio. They're worried about Trump. They're trying to comfort their donors, and so far, whether or not that comfort is working is kind of up in the air.
If it were Jeb Bush pressed against the wall, he would not be the first front runner or former front runner who was. There is history to suggest that others have come back. John McCain comes to mind. Bill Clinton comes to mind. So you can come back for this sort of stuff. Or is the nature of the field and the truncated view of expectations changing things?
Absolutely, it's not unfixable, right? It's conceivable that Jeb could right the ship, but what we have to bear in mind, making historical analogies here, is that this campaign is just totally different from any previous presidential campaign. The fundamentals are not even, in a lot of ways, not even really comparable. There hasn't been a candidate like Trump. I mean, there hasn't even really been a candidate like Carson, so you can't approach this campaign the way that we approach a lot of these other, 2000, 2008 races, and, history that might have made people feel better. At this point, it's hard to say that things are going the way they've gone in the past. So it's it's really up in the air. It's curious.
But, you could make the argument that even Donald Trump, this is a third poll out in a little more than a week that shows he's losing some steam, at least in Iowa, not nationally. He leads in most of the polls nationally, certainly in New Hampshire, some key states. So to Carl Cameron's point about 4 years ago at this time, Herman Cain leading in the polls by a lot in states like Iowa and elsewhere. Things could change. Is anyone telling you that the Bush folks are hunkering down to hope that either Ben Carson or Donald Trump or both just sort of shoot themselves in the foot and then are out of the way, exploding themselves?
I think that's certainly what the Bush people think, and it's telling that of these slides that got leaked from the Bush event in Houston, where his team was talking to donors, the candidate they went after the most was not Trump or Carson, but actually was Rubio. It's like Rubio is the candidate they're taking the most seriously, that they're the most stressed out about. They see him as the real threat. And, at least among the campaign circles where what I'm hearing from people, the expectation is not that Trump or Carson are going to be the nominee. So people are looking at this differently than the poll numbers might suggest they would be.
I just wonder, Betsy, just the way that Jeb Bush was talking there, I don't need this grief. I'm just paraphrasing him. Is he laying the groundwork for exiting?
I mean, that's kind of what it sounds like. I don't think he is. His team has so much money. His super PAC is so, so well funded that it would be weird if he was trying to back out now. But I mean, yeah, it sounded a little bit like he was trying to give himself an out. The fact that he said there were other cool things he could be doing, I mean, geez, right? Like, that's telling. And even going after gridlock is curious, because gridlock is kind of the state of things in D.C. almost permanently. If you don't want to deal with gridlock, why would you run for president? It's just how things are right now.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, like I say, way too early, but it is interesting. Thank you very much. Good seeing you again.